This is genuinely insane, as right ahead of the wild card series between the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, Aaron Boone and the Yankees have just made one of the craziest decisions that they possibly could have made to this team in a way that Yankee fans should be absolutely furious about for so many reasons, as clearly what we are seeing out of the New York Yankees right now is complete and utter mismanagement, as they just went out of their way to make the team considerably worse going into playing Gerrit Cole, the best pitcher in the American League this season. We're going to go over exactly what the Yankees did, what the hell they could have been thinking when they made this decision, and everything that's going to follow it, including what the rest of the wildcard series is going to look like between the Yankees and the Red Sox. And we're going to waste no time jumping right into that, guys. But real quick, if you're part of that 70% that's not subscribed to Yankees Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Yankees updates. We are officially in postseason baseball. The Yankees have to take 2 of 3 to go on to the next round and face the Toronto Blue Jays in the ALDS. As right now, they face the Boston Red Sox in the wild card round. But first things first is what's in front of us, and that is game 1 of the wild card that is about to happen in just over 24 hours, as the New York Yankees get set to face off against Gerrit Cole, the likely Cy Young in the American League, and the Boston Red Sox in a series that's going to be very intense over these next 3 games. As we know, Max Fried will be pitching for the Yankees, and now we just got an insane update from the Yankees and their plans going forwards. As it was mentioned by Chris Kirschner that Austin Wells will start at catcher tomorrow and Paul Goldschmidt will likely start at first base. Since June 1st, Paul Goldschmidt has a 676 OPS versus lefty pitching, while Ben Rice has a 723 OPS versus lefty pitching in the same span. So obviously, with all that in mind, things are getting absolutely crazy as the New York Yankees, for some unbelievable reason, have decided the move is to bench multiple star players on their team in a way that just makes absolutely no sense. Ben Rice has been on an absolute heater recently. However, the Yankees, they decided that Rice is not going to be playing against Gerrit Cole because of his struggles against lefty pitchers, and Cole specifically, one that we have seen a little bit less from with Austin Wells. But at the end of the day, Ben Rice is still one of the premier players in the MLB. This is absurd. As mentioned here by Yankees World, Ben Rice finished the 2025 regular season as a top 10 hitter in the American League despite being one of baseball's unluckiest hitters. He was tied for 10th, or not tied, but he had the 10th highest weighted runs created plus, with multiple ties ahead of him, like guys like Jose Ramirez, Bo Bichette, Yandy Diaz very slightly above him, and then also Jeremy Pena, Brian Buxton, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., all being in that 130 range as well, before you see the top 3 with Cal Raleigh at a 161, George Springer at a 166, and, well, Aaron Judge at a 205, because, well, he's the MVP after all, so he deserves to, or that's what we expect out of a guy who deserves it. But when we look at Ben Rice and his numbers against Gerrit Cole, we do see some reasoning, which is the fact that he's 1 for 8 in his 9 plate appearances against Gerrit Cole in his career. He only has 1 hit. That hit is a double, so obviously the numbers are not great. But at the end of the day, he still should not be getting benched in any type of world with the heater that he's been on, especially when Austin Wells in his career is 2 for 9 against Gerrit Cole. Yeah, he's got a home run, and that makes the numbers a lot better, and it's great considering that he has 4 RBIs in that span. So we've seen Austin Wells absolutely crack one off of Gerrit Cole before, but still, is that the full reasoning here? Is that really what we're going with? Because look, Austin Wells has had a nice little return to form. Meanwhile, well, Paul Goldschmidt is not, but we've seen Wells really get better and better as times went on this season. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't really make sense that we're seeing this out of Austin Wells, out of the Yankees, because frankly, when we look at the Yankees and what they're getting up to, Ben Rice is a 340 some odd average over his last 20 games. Why are we not playing him? Because he struggles against Cole like Austin Wells? And I really like Austin Wells, but still, it just doesn't make sense at all right now with what we see out of this Yankees team. It feels like weird reasoning. Now, at the same time, we look at Paul Goldschmidt and his 13 plate appearances against Gerrit Cole in his career. He is 2 for 12 in those 13 appearances, or this season, excuse me. He's 2 for 12 against Cole this season. It's not like he's hitting off Cole either. Guess what? Here's the secret. No one really is hitting off of Gerrit Cole because he's the Cy Young. There's no difference here, except for the fact that since June 1st, as mentioned by Kirshner, Ben Rice has a significantly better OPS against lefties than Paul Goldschmidt. This does not make sense. Now, the reasoning that you have to come and consider is the fact that when we look at Aaron Boone, when we look at everything that this man is really just making the decision based off of, there's reasoning that you can consider some of the fielding about this. Like, all right, here's the thing. At the end of the day, we do know that, frankly, the Goldschmidt's a better fielder than Ben Rice at the first base position. There's no doubt about that. And it is something that we should be like aware of, but does it mean we should completely change our game plan? No, not at all. Why would we change our game plan off that? It just doesn't make sense to me to go out there and do that. So definitely what we're seeing right now is just, it's just completely cooked, man. I don't understand the purpose of this. I don't understand why the Yankees decided to go out there and make this decision. It really doesn't make much sense to me at all to go out there and decide this right now. But here we are. That's what things look like. And we have even more updates when we continue to look at everything. Because as mentioned by Jimmy Randazzo, Jazz Chisum hit 30 home runs and had 30 stolen bases. He will not be starting tomorrow. Paul Goldschmidt, who had a 731 OPS with 10 home runs, will get the start over Ben Rice, who had 26 home runs and an 836 OPS this season. Neither of their numbers are good versus Crochet as well, so it really doesn't make sense. And as Kirshner mentioned, don't be surprised if Jose Caballero and Ahmed Rosario are in the lineup. Caballero worked out at third base and Rosario at second base during the Yankees workout on Tuesday, today that this video drops. Caballero is a better defender at third than Rosario, but having Rosario against Crochet makes sense. No one has more career hits against the Cy Young Award contender than him. So look, in that sense, the Rosario thing does make some sense because, well, we look at it and we understand, okay, in fairness, Ahmed Rosario has been excellent against Garrett Crochet. I get it. But does that really mean take Jazz Chisum and Ben Rice out of the game? You don't have to do that. You don't have to, just don't play Caballero, who I love Caballero, but don't play him over Jazz Chisum. Why would we do that? Put Rosario at third. He can handle it. He'll be fine. I know Caballero's a better fielder at third, but that doesn't mean we gotta bench Jazz Chisum. I don't care if Jazz is a lefty or not. Jazz should be in the game because he's one of the best fielders on the Yankees, and the Yankees are pitching Max Fried, one of the best ground out pitchers in the sport. What don't you want when you have that? Your best fielders available, and that makes some sense for Paul Goldschmidt. It doesn't for Jazz Chisum, so this really doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's really frustrating to see this go down like that because it just feels a complete and utter mismanagement of the team in ways that just absolutely suck to see. Now, Jazz, he's had an excellent season thus far. He had he had an excellent season. He had 31 home runs, a 242 batting average, an 813 OPS, and a 125 OPS plus. The man was well above average both offensively and defensively. Had a 30-30 season, 31-31 season to be exact. So when we look at all this, it's absolutely a shame that this is really what we're going and doing right now. It makes no sense. I absolutely hate it, and I do hope the Yankees do not actually continue to make this mistake because it is really crucial not to. But guys, what do you think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Yankees.